Alright, this is just a quick video about editing grids. So they're a little bit different than some things. So to start with these grids, what's wrong with them? They're come out too dark. They're very black, they're very big. So let's just click on a grid. Obviously this is the grid type, so this will just change between bubbles, different line types. Let's just stick with where we are and let's go change all the different parameters. So first thing, we're going to duplicate the grid and call it a new grid. I'll call it grey grid circle. Okay, I'm going to change the color of the line here to grey. I'm then going to also want to change the circle. The circle's a bit too big, and the letter's a bit too big as well. So for now, we're just going to change the end segment color. So that's just going to change that line a little bit grey instead of the dark black. You'll see in a minute. The next thing we need to change before we leave this view and edit the actual circle is if you go to your view up here and your visibility graphics, the shortcut's VG or VV if you want to use shortcuts faster. And in annotation categories, you need to, oh sorry, no, not in here, my mistake. Under the Manage tab, sorry, we want to manage the way that the color and the weighting of this circle, you need to go into the Manage tab and Object Styles. And in the Object Styles, in the annotation heading, you'll see down here the grid heads given a line weight and a color. So same again, I'm just going to change that to a grey. And I'm going to drop this line weight down. It's very high. Okay. So that's how I changed the color of that ring and the weighting of it. And last thing then we're going to change is this actual circle. Now the circle is a family loaded into the grid family, if that makes sense. So here it is, your grid circle, and that's actually a family itself. So we can just open that as we normally would, open family. It's in the annotations, architectural, and down here you've got grid head circle. So we then open that, simply open that family, and let's save it as our new grid head circle grey. And let's quickly change. So we want to see is there any parameters. So always check if you open a new family what parameters are already available to you instead of moving everything around and changing things. So we have the radius here. We're going to drop that down, make it smaller, and then we're going to change the label because this isn't just ordinary text. This is a label, and that's how it changes numbers and grids. So you want to make sure that you don't change that to text. But let's just add a new label, the same way we would do with everything else. 3mm. And change the height to 3mm. Okay, so that's the other one's still there. We're just making a new label, 3mm high, and that's now. Let's also actually change the color of this text to the grey as well, just so everything's kind of lighter on the page. And there's other ways of doing this faster. You can also just halftone the halftone all the grids. I'll show you that in a second. But if you want to do it, if you want to actually change the properties and you want to completely own or change its properties that you want to, is there to do it. Okay, so check this as well. So that should be everything. Okay, yeah, no, just one more check in this actual family under the project styles again in the Manage tab. The grid head has a color, so just the same color again here, it's grey. And apply that. Okay, so everything in there is grey. We'll save the family again. We'll just resave where we already saved the location of it and load it into the project. We want to load it into our project here. And then it's simply a case of editing the grey circle head we've made and changing its symbol from circle head to circle head grey that we just created. Now, so that's changed that's a new grid type. You can just right click on the old one, select all instances in the project, and change them all to 3mm grey circle. Now, you can also, when you're in the family, you can also edit things like the text font, maybe the width. You can change all the different dimensions of the text and how it looks, and give a bit of a unique look if you want. But So that's getting your grids, and as you can see now they're a little bit less harsh. The other way of doing that, if you want to just do a quick shortcut and changing your grids, just make it a bit lighter, is I'm going to change it back to the bubble, the large and dark bubble. Now I'm just going to change the object style as before back to black so you can see it. So back in our grid head, we'll change this back to black. I'm just reversing the process I did earlier, so I'm doing too fast. I'm not doing anything different. That's how it was originally. If you just go into your visibility graphics settings, so do your view, into visibility graphics or VV, and go into your grids, you can just click halftone, and that'll make all your grid lines halftone. As you can see, that's how it is. So it might be a little bit too light. That's why I just showed you the longer way of actually editing the colors of them. And if you want to do it that way, that's the shorter way.